I'm going to show you how to make this chalkboard ornament, even if you don't feel like you can draw or write with fancy lettering. So the first thing we need are wood slice ornaments. You need chalkboard paint. I'm using some sort of template with a 2-inch circle cut out of it and a makeup sponge. You need imagery if you're going to trace. You need some twine to tie at the top. I'm using a white charcoal pencil and a ballpoint pen. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to center my template. I've cut this out of a Post-it note, so it will actually temporarily stick down. And I'm going to load my makeup sponge with a little bit of the chalkboard paint. And just lightly pounce the paint on. You don't want it to be on there too thick. It'll ooze behind the edges. You could do this with a paintbrush too. You don't have to do it with a sponge. I find that the sponge makes it go on nice and smooth and you don't end up having brush strokes. So you want to dry in between and you want to do 2 coats like that. So you've got your 2-inch circle. And maybe I could have done a better job of centering it up, but I kind of like it that way. So once that's dry, like this other side is, you're going to start looking at your images. What do you want to put on there? I think I'm going to go with this Let It Snow. I found some images that I liked online. I brought them into Photoshop and resized them so they would fit inside of my circle. And what I want to do is cut this down as close as I can so that it'll be easy to center it on the ornament, so I can see if I need to paint any more of the black around so I can see all these little dots. I think I'm probably good. And then here's my easy transfer method. I'm going to take my charcoal pencil and I'm going to transfer this white charcoal onto the back. So it just involves coloring this down. Sometimes it's easier to do this before you cut it out. Onto the front. And hold or tape it down. Just so I'm not worried about it shifting out of place, and that way I can lift it up and check as I'm going. And this works best with a ballpoint pen. So just get started tracing or transferring all the letters. I'm going to go over this a second time with my pencil. This is also a great way to start training your brain to do this fancy brush style lettering. As you're tracing these letters, pretty soon your hand will have muscle memory, and remember how the flourishes go. And you can edit the design as you like. Maybe I won't put all these dots in it, or maybe I'll put the dots in it when I'm doing it freehand and just fill in as many as I feel like it needs. Okay, so I'm going to lift it up, and that's pretty good. I could leave it like that. Any place there's extra little smudge, I'm just sort of removing it with my finger. And then I'm coming in with my charcoal pencil, and I'm going to go over these lines again. I think the Let It doesn't need any more, but I want there to be a little bit darker white line on the rest of this. All right, when I'm happy with the way that it looks, I want to make sure that it's not going to smudge really easily, because if I rub my finger over that, or if I give it away as a gift or use it as a gift topper, it's going to smudge pretty easily. And you notice on here, when I rub over the top of this one, it doesn't smudge. So what I'm using for that is Workable Matte Fixative. You can also use hairspray. If you have that, you can mist it with hairspray and that'll work. This is a low odor spray, and because I'm just going to spritz it a couple of times in here, I'm not so worried about it being an aerosol inside. And it dries pretty quickly, but I'll speed it along with my dryer. And then I'll finish this off by just putting a piece of twine through the top. And tying the two ends together. I could choose also to have a brighter finish with this rather than using the charcoal pencil on those. I would use a Bistro chalk marker or a Posca white paint pen. Less removable and changeable, but most of the time I'm not going to change this out. I just want it to look like the chalkboard rather than being able to actually erase it and redo it. So here's some other designs that I've done. A lot of these are just freehand, but if you don't feel confident in your ability to do freehand, I recommend that you find something online that you like or type something up that you like, print it out, and transfer it on with that easy transfer method.